Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my first ever live show. Today, I'll be doing some work on the Steelheart Champions. I hope you can all hear me. Got the camera looks off. I'll sort you out. As you might know, there will be a few things going wrong today. It usually does. So my first project today that I'll be showing will be the Steelheart Champion. You might find that I'm a bit out of sorts with this at the moment, so I'm still learning. I want to thank Colin, Dad, for forcing me to do this, but I think it's the right move, as most people seem to like the work I do. I understand why. But here we go. Just like to go through chat a bit. We can start at the top where we've got Sprue and Glue, David. Welcome to. And it's Sarah Jane saying, "Hi Ross, popped in, give support and a thumbs up. Thank you very much." And we've got Sarah Jane saying hi to David. Then there's me just welcoming people to the stream and hope you all like it. And it's Sarah Jane saying, "I'm in bed, so might have to catch later, but glad to be here for the first show, Ross. Thank you." Then you've got Skelly Models, Dad, saying hi, Ross. He's saying hi to Sarah. Then you've got Sarah Jane saying hi, Dad. Sprue and Glue saying hi, Mike. And it's just me saying hi to Dad. And Skelly Models saying hi to Dave. And Flora Pink is the lovely Mrs. M. And she's saying, oh, listen face now. She's saying, "Evening everyone, hope you all had a great day." Christine. You got Skelly Models Dad saying, hi Cora, Christine. Got Sarah Jane saying hi Cora. You got William Rayburn in. Welcome. He's saying, "Hi Ross, hi everyone, hope everyone's having a great day." Well, so far. And we've got Skelly Models saying hi William. We've got Cora Pink saying hi William. Sprue and Glue saying hi Cora and William. And we've got Sarah Jane saying hi William. And William Rayburn saying, "Smoke break before we get started." Yep, very good idea. And that's what Cora Pink said. We've got Best of Workshop, Colin himself, saying hi Scale Model Ninja. And then it says, same person says hi chat. And then it's chat even. Plastic Monkey, E. And me saying hi Colin. And it's Plastic Monkey saying hi all. And then Fist 67 Workshop saying hi Plastic Monkey. And Sarah Jones saying hi Colin. Sprue and Glue saying hi to Colin. Fist 67 saying hi Sarah Jane. And Sprue and Glue saying hi Plastic. And William Rayburn saying hi Colin and Plastic Monkey with two little monkeys. And just me saying thank you all for coming to my first show, which I very much appreciate it. As I'm pretty much nervous about this because it's, as I said, it's the first time I'm actually doing this all. And you've got Scale Model Muse going boo. So hi Muse, welcome to my first show. Sprue and Glue saying hi to Muse. Scaly Models saying Muse hugs. Dad's after love again. Sarah Jane saying hi Muse. We've got Best of Workshops. He's saying hi Muse with pictures of whatever they are. Scale Model Muse at work, can't stay, I'll have to watch later. Well, I hope you do watch it and I hope you like it. William Rayburn's put in some sort of wow face. Okay. Plastic Monk saying bottoms up, Sarah Jane. And William goes, hi, my Muse. With smileys, I think. And you've got Plastic Monkey saying hi Muse. Sarah Jane, bottoms up, Plastic Monkey. Sprue and Glow. Oh my god, love your setup, Ross. It looks awesome for the first timer. Well, I do have a lot to thank my Mrs. M for that. She's the one who designed all the layout for my show. Yeah, that's before she even started to do one of her own. She's doing something or other else. So, I just leave it up to her. Then we've got Green Raven saying hi to Sprue and Glue. Then Plastic Monkey saying hi to Dave. Well, that's the chat call up at the moment. Good. For my first few shows, I will be doing some Warhammer figures. So these are from the Age of Sigma, and these are Stormcast Eternals. I've been doing a few just lately to get a bit more practice in. With these ones, there's 3 figures in the box set. I'll take you over to my best camp. Anyone can see, I can show you what ones I'm doing. Just change over to the mat camp, and there we go. So for this one, we were Steelheart Champions. There's 3 figures in a box, and they're fairly basic ones, but these ones are easy build ones, by all count. They all socket together. Now you'll notice, not in the box at the moment, but I have taken them out and pre-primed them. Unlike quite a few other people who build all their models and then prime them, I don't. This is the way I prefer to do it, because it allows me to get around to all pieces when painting, and this allows me to get into those little nooks and crannies which you can't get to if your model's actually fully built. And I just find it easier this way. So you can see, it comes with 2 sprues, and both are moving primed up enough to allow me to work on this. Now the reason why I've used white primer is because sometimes the inner cloaks are white, and giving it a base coat of white primer allows me to get a better finish. So this one we're starting off with the first one of it will be the Severin Steelheart. I think he's one of the main guys. And there's not many parts to them. They're fairly easy to pick all together, and they all push it together. But the only thing you have to watch out for when you pre-prime these sort of figures, especially with the ones with the pins, is that you sometimes have to clean the pins off so that you can actually get a better fit together, because the primer does have a tendency to get too thick and doesn't allow you to push them together to get sort of like join them together so quickly. So we'll go ahead and start cutting the first few pieces off that I'll be needing. I'm going to put the snitch right here up. We need parts number 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. No. What else have we got joining in? Right. Scale modeling chaos. Evening everyone. Good evening, Scale modeling chaos. Welcome to my live show. And got Graham Moore from Crowbert. Hi all. And welcome to you. And Sprue saying nice work, Aura. And Sarah Jane saying, well done, Christine, looked really good. And you've got well done, Christine, Ice, Graham Blue from Graham McCrover. And you've got basically saying, Sarah Jane saying hi to Graham. Stan Wallace saying hi to Graham. William Rayburn saying hi to Graham and Carol. You've got Graham Corbett saying hi Sarah and Dad plus William. So you've got Sarah Jane saying for the first time you put Dad to shame. Oh, thank you, Sarah Jane. But okay, might have actually done a little bit of cheating, but not as much as Dad. Well, I've actually pre-primed them. But we know Dad knows to really cheat, don't we? You've got Graham Corbett saying hi Festa. You've got William Braden saying hi Cora, Steady Model saying hi Gav, Frail, and we've got Graham Corbett saying hi Ross. There you go. Scale Modelling Cow saying hi Dad and William. That's Graham Blues just said hi to Scale Modelling Chaos. 17 when I look from RBU. Typical Warhammer style. Will change, put all the parts on the same sprue, I think, the first time, as a novelty. Yeah. Sometimes you find that these PCs do sometimes get really close. The way I get around that is by taking off the sprue. Side allows me to snip down a bit easier to the part like that. Few little nubs to take off. I wouldn't advise most people to do this part like this. I do because I'm fairly used to taking it down with a scalpel. So that's me to feel when there is parts where the actual nub's still slightly proud. And I can take it off like so. Someone just raised it up. What I was about to ask was, what's everybody working on at the moment? Because Dave just brought that up. Oh no, it's Graham McCrory. He's asking what everybody else is working on. No, go ahead and put what you're working on. Read it out. See what everybody else is doing. So I've got Graham as well. He's just easing back into it with my 132 scale Tomcat. Now, is that the Tamiya kit or another one? It's the Tamiya kit, which is a really nice one. I think that's about just seeing on there. few ones off. Yes, I know, and if most people say, why don't you file it off? I'm just used to doing it this way, so I don't go down very hard on the blade, so it doesn't scrape too much off. It just brings it out level and flat. When you do seaming products, that's how I'm doing it. There we go. Put that bit there. Let's see. Blue and Blue just saying nice 1 gram. And then we've got Sarah Jane asking, are you still doing the Tomcat diagram? Where was I? 2 foot wingspan, fully open. That'll be his Tomcat end. Yes, they're not a small model. Scale Modern Chaos is currently working on a 1:144 Airbus A320. I think, is that the Rebel kit? I'm not sure. Ross, it's a Grumman F-14A Tomcat Black Knight. So, would that be the Tamiya kit then? I'll take it. I'm not sure which one Black Knight's one is. Oh no. That one's done. And then the base. Okay. Find this one there. I'll put that down already. And I don't think there's any sheen on this one, which is good. That's a chain. Okay then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the base first. Now, the base I just normally cover with a base grey paint, which is should be around here somewhere. I did have them already, but I've messed them up because I've actually been working on something else. Where are you? Ah, there you are, which I'm basically using Mechanica Standard Grey. So I'll just start off with that. Yeah, it's the Tamiya kit, thought it might be. Scale Modern Chaos, it's a Bethesda kit. I won it a while back on E-Model Stream. Very nice. We've got Sarah Jane doing first NASCAR, which is getting annoying, as instructions say to glue things to fresh air. Well, that's better than nothing, I suppose. Can't always be right. Yeah. I'm getting whinged at by the backroom people, by Mrs. M, complaining about my phone dinging. And it's probably my tablet's dinging as well. Yeah, I'll do it. Yes, just to make sure that Mrs. M can't be nosing on my phone. It is fingerprint only. The safest way to be, as far as I'm concerned. Might Graham Walker said might do a Dio with the 132. That would be very interesting, but that'd be huge. Especially if you did something like it on the lines of aircraft carrier deck. Obviously, Sarah's going saying typical Rebel. There's actually some good Rebel kits. I will say that. I've done a few. And yes, there's a lot of Rebel peak kits, but as we all say, you either are a modeler or an assembler. This allows you to both. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one at the moment is basically go over the whole base with grey. The small brush allows me to get into the cracks and creed, but I think that's one a bit too small. Into whole base, like so. Right. That all nicely covered. Start working into all the little nooks and crannies. Like so. All in there. As you probably noticed, I don't use a wet palette where if you ever found that out, would probably go ballistic. But here we go. Where can I get figures for it? What, your 132 dio? That's something I'm not too sure about. Whether there is, I think, there will be somewhere out there that does it, I think. But I think mostly, you wouldn't really tell the difference from 137 to 135. So you'd probably be better off going online with 132 figures. I don't think it will show much difference. I don't think there's really that much in it. But you never know. Don't take my word for it. So I'm going to work on a 1 to 100 Zaku Phantom after Midnight Murders. NZ Murdering. Or was that Midnight Mudders, sorry. Oh well. Okay. That's that first bit done. On the cloak side of things, they are supposed to be, well, it's supposed to be white, but I like to do my own sort of base colours and everything like that and change things up a little bit. So what I will be doing is I'll be using Dad's favourite colour, Mephiston Red, just to keep him happy. Dad likes his Mephiston Red, but I think he seriously likes the Cantor Blue most. It reminds him of his lovely Everton team he loves. This one. Side area there. And this one's just a wide chisel brush. Not too worried about it going over the edges too much. But this allows it to give a nice, even, flat coat. Just over the edges. And the bases like that. So. And there we go. Okay. Give that one a nice, even flat coat. So we're just saying, get in, Mephiston Red. Yes, Dad, that's what you'd be happy with. But you're sure you wouldn't like the blue? You know you really love blue. Scaly model saying nope. Sarah Jones is saying Dad's happy. Well, he should be. I will have to. Graham McCormick is saying I will have a word with a certain person, Sarah. Oops, somebody's in trouble. We'll soon find out, I suppose. Next up, we'll be working on this, and this again is back of his cloak, his front pinny there. So we'll be doing that in a minute. Actually, I think we'll just do his tabard first. So we need Cantor Blue. Cantor Blue is going here, and go into here. It doesn't matter about going on to that other bit yet. You can all see what I'm doing. I have a habit of putting it into me so I can actually see it better. Well, I shouldn't really. I've still got to try and get used to actually making sure that everybody can see what I'm doing on the camera. So we'll get there one way or another. Into there. Down to there. Like so. Go. There. Okay. Now. Yes. A bit of blue in there. Yeah, it needs a close up of the blue. Lovely blue. More nice that. Leave that bit down. Okay, back of his leg in. Basically, I'm just working on parts, and then they just sit and dry nicely. Like so. And I'll work from one part to the next. So I'm just not too worried about going out of the box areas too much just yet. So we'll go around and tidy them up as I work on them. And I use a lot of detailing brushes, which are usually from anywhere from 0 all the way down to 10 over 0. That number generally means the size of the brush, or otherwise I call it hairy sticks, just so that people know these are hairy sticks. They're not brushes, they're hairy sticks. It doesn't matter what people like Nat and everybody else calls them, they are hairy sticks. So has anybody else been up to anything exciting today? And we all had good weather. So now it's been fairly sunny and warm here, and the so-called rain that was supposed to show up never did. So You've been lucky that way, I think, in a few good days. There's no blue on that one, but there'll be some. These are not what's here. Okay. Let's see. We've got Johnny. Hello. Hello to you, Johnny. Welcome to the show. Damn it, look at now. Seems to have quite a few people coming in. JC Bricks and Bills, how is everyone doing? And so I'm watching loads of motorsport and again tomorrow. Yep. Had to work today instead of sailing. Oh yeah, I can understand that. Working. Pardon? Well, when I lived in Gibraltar, I used to do a lot of sailing and windsurfing. That was fun. But then again, the weather was also a lot better out there until you got round to the winter time. And trying to windsurf at 110 mile an hour wind gusts. It can be interesting, to say the least. Okay, now for the... So it's all nicely dried up. So next thing is white star. Now the white star, I use that. So I'll be dry brushing this on. So I need a piece of paper. And white brush. Now to dry brush it, all I do is put a bit of paint in there, brush it onto there, like that, so it's really dry. And then we'll just go like that over the edges and catch the edges of the stones. Missing away, use it defined edges for the stonework. And now throw it up like so. Okay. The good thing about dry brushing is it doesn't take long to dry. That's why you don't use a new brush, either you just use an old scraggly brush. If it's got a nice sort of wide splayed edge end like that, I find it easier to use that way. I've just spent the day with my daughter building Lego Princess kits and cooking a curry. Very nice and still in chaos. I'm mentioning the wife literally me behind me. Fairy sticks. All this time I've been calling them wet fellow delivery systems. Yeah, I can understand that. Most people aren't educated enough to know about the fairy sticks. That's all you should be calling them. So from now on, Mr. Chaos, you call them fairy sticks. By order of the ninja. Windsurfing is difficult. It can be until you get the idea of actually balancing. It can be very difficult indeed. I used to do wave jumping and that sort of thing down to Reefer. When I used to go from Gibraltar down to Spain, that lot. So that's when it gets even more fun. It can certainly be a bit dangerous. I've actually had end up having 130 stitches in my head due to being smacked around the head by the boom, which wasn't fun. No, Dad, you don't have a problem with windsurfing, especially the wind part. We know about the wind part. The only time I call it a brush is when I'm decorating. If it's model related, it's very stick to me. Good lad, Graham. That was a short stay, Graham. I've just spent the day. So, you see, it's now. It's got right. You can stick up where it's actually caught the edges of the stone. Get that effect on it, and then we'll show up a bit more when we'll start using Agrax Earthshade, which is a wash near enough, which is this one here, Agrax Earthshade. And good evening, Nat, or should I say Dexterous Crafters. Welcome to my first show. And yes, Nat, I'm using a hairy stick, not a brush. My girlfriend was going to teach me how to kiteboard today. Try to, at least. Now, that is something I would like to have a go at. That's one thing, kiteboarding. But then again, at my age, I think I'd probably end up breaking my neck doing it. And Mrs. M would probably think it would be a good idea as long as my insurance was paid up. Okay. You just basically go over the whole thing with Agrax Earthshade. Brush it all in. Slow. The first coat. And that allows it to sort of show up more. It's now given about those white shaded areas, and that'll be the first coat of Agrax Earthshade. There'll be another one going on there afterwards. Right. Dries off. Doing this one. So the next part on here, I'll be using the lead Belcher, and that will do the front chainmail or mail part of his tabard. Lead Belcher. No, Nat, get it right. It's a cherry stick, not a paintbrush. We have no arguments over that. Okay. Should be actual inches. One of the reasons why I use a lot of detailing brushes when it comes to doing this, when you're getting up into little cracks like this, it allows you to move the paint to where you actually want it. This way I can get everywhere I want. It may take a little bit longer using a smaller brush, but I find it's a better result this way. Yes. Lisa Craft Station's joined us. Hi, Lisa. I'm saying hi, Ross, and hi to Lisa. Thank you for coming along to my first ever show. Same as my making models. James Skiffin, model officer. Thank you very much for joining us. Got Best of Workshop there coming along nicely, Ross. Thank you. Johnny's saying hello, Colin. Then Nat saying hello, then James, Carl, and Lisa. Hopefully you didn't have to finish your Saturday night crash off too quickly. But I am very glad that you've decided to come and join me. As I said, I'm not 100% confident about doing this yet, but slowly getting into it and slowly enjoying it. bit more and more each time. As time goes by, I should say. It's just a matter of trying to forget that I've got nobody talking to me and I'm the only one talking. That's the hardest thing to get over. Well, other than the Mrs. M whinging from behind me. She calls it encouragement. Could be dodgy. Okay, and then on the back of his tabard, I'll be going in Mephiston red. So, that's already been shook up, so we should be able to use it straight away. Little brush. Should be able to go straight down like so. That. Cover the main area with the chisel brush. Should be able to change over to me detail brush just to get into the smaller areas and to bring the edges up once more. So I'm actually using the side of the brush, not the actual tip. This allows me to drag it along the top nicely. It controls when you go to tip, which put it along down the edge, and then it should just drop in to it like so. And then we're going to edge, brush, and then on the base. I find by using the edge of the brush, it stops me from marking up or accidentally pushing into areas, especially if you want like a nice straight line. So you're not actually accidentally dragging onto the actual part that you've painted already and doing edges like this. That's it. You don't use a lot of paint doing it this way either. And there we go. Okay, so that's his little tabard done. And both sides of it done. Now need that bit to dry for it. This one. So, should use that point. Okay. Then go on to the cancel blue. This and back onto the chisel brush. Cover that like so. And just drag it down. That's the lens. The thing with the cancel blue is that you'll find when it goes over the white, it does take a couple of coats. But that I'm not too worried about because it also can help with the final weather effect. But using the wide chisel brush allows me to get a fairly uniform finish in it. Get it slurp. Oh, that's better. Allows me to get a nice even finish. Once again, as I said, I'm not too overly worried about going on to the other parts of it yet. So, you can see I have gone over on that edge bit, but I will cover that up with the red and it'll go a bit better finish. And tidy up in a bit. Nice and even. Like really. Also, when it comes to trying to get an even finish, I find just keeping your brush damp, it does help with moving the foam. I suppose it's a bit like using a wet palette, but it's not a wet palette. Your brush is the actual thing. I always dampen my brushes down before using them. This way I find I get a better finish. Yeah, probably work is cutting into my thumb time, says John. It probably will do. That's one of those things. Oh my god, Ross, how quickly can you paint? Yeah, well, a lot of people do say I paint a lot quicker than most. I suppose it's confidence in what you do. I mean, if you're confident in using your heuristics, like I am, and you don't, and then you're basically using them to cover where you want to at the time, and if you've got the confidence to actually bring your detail out afterwards, then it's fairly straightforward. It becomes second nature to me, I suppose, in a way, because it's what I do as a living as well. I'm a painter and decorator by trade. It's how I work with them, so I'm fairly confident in what I do on that part of it. So yeah, a lot of people say I can actually paint fairly quickly. You'll notice as well on the picture of this, it's supposed to have a inner white. Probably I prefer the red because it sort of stands out a bit more. Okay, and then we've got legs again for a little bit. We get the gold. We start off with Retributor armor. I like this gold. It's not overly bright, but it's bright enough. Okay. Oh, once again, on this, we're literally covering the whole piece with the gold and that. So other than the part which I've painted in already with the blue, so we can use a reasonably large brush. This one's a number 1, I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it's a number 1. So we'll go over the whole thing. So brush. The general idea is what I find with your brushing like this is to keep your brush moving and don't try and go over the edges too far or work up one side too far. Try and work around the piece. That way you're not leaving a dry edge to it. So therefore you've got a wet edge to work from. Therefore you won't get your lines coming in. And if you touch it gently, like so, your heuristic won't leave so many brush marks, even with using a small brush like this. Even though a lot of the places where I'm actually painting as well will be covered when the model goes together and they won't be seen, I still paint them. This way I know that they will all be covered. Touch it blue up in there. Of course, come on. We'll go back over that. Just tidy it up a bit more. Done. There we go. There's the edge. I've caught a bit of the blue there, but never mind. So I'm not overly worried about catching it too much at the moment, because I will go back afterwards and just tidy up the edges. Now, I don't profess to being a top level painter. I just paint the way I do because I enjoy it. And I build these models purely because they are fun to build. I've got more into the Age of Sigma side of things because I find that the actual kits are a bit more detailed than your average Space Marine and that lot, so therefore I enjoy the challenge because they have a lot more smaller detail, which is a lot more fun to actually pick out and build. Especially when you look at me and you sort of like enjoy the detail of a model, not just the way it looks. It's the challenge of that detail and bringing it out. Okay, so what's this bit done? Just need long to do this, and that just holds that piece for me nicely. Oh, he's got his face shine, so we'll have to configure that bit. Okay. So that's that part done. Now, on the back here, you'll see that we've got fully into the edges there. So what I'll do is I'll change over to my 500 brush. Just bring it round it on this armour. Just let go of it, like so. The gold paint is a Retributor armour. Also the Citadel one. So I'll also be using another gold in a minute, made by Belcher. And this one is self-leveling gold. That's the liquid gold by Belcher. It's a lacquer paint, so I will need to use a thinners to wash and brush out afterwards. Okay, so that's got the edges of that and that. So, there we go. So that's the gold on the legs of the car. Now I like to bring out some of the things, especially like with this. We've got the lion's head on it. So the different gold that I use is called liquid gold. It's another Belcher product. And it's self-leveling, but most people use this in an airbrush. I don't. I actually brush paint it on as well. The only thing is it can very temperamental stuff. Now when the lid plate, no, it's not going to play ball. It does have a tendency to stick on. So, the big pliers comes out. You don't got it. Sorry. Taking that off because it was sealed before. You should be able to get it on and off now. That's a good thing. Really pretty like that. So you'll see it's like just sitting in the lid top there. And that's all I need. And it does like sort of does fun patterns and everything. Using it. So you put it on the brush and you basically just go around there. You can't really see it on the camera or the sort, but it is just a very, very different, slight difference of colour finish. But it does look a little different. Just highlights the piece. Back up there, you'll see it. Right. Just brings his knee pad out a bit more there. Do the other side. The only thing I find when I'm doing stuff like this is that I end up holding my breath. What I should do, and you sometimes forget to breathe because you're scared you might end up knocking yourself. So that's that. But you can actually see the. You can just see a slight colour difference, but it'll show up better in a photograph than what it does on a camera, video camera. And it does actually. See the slight difference of the two different. You're welcome, Nick. I'm glad I could help you. But you can see the slight different colour code change from the HP arm and liquid gold. I use that a lot for around the top of his arms and everything like that. And for elbow pads and like that. Because it just adds a bit of a change to it. That's all I do for it. Okay. Next, because that can practically dry, but we better wash this brush out. Go. Yeah, tinners. Wow, oh yeah, that is good news. That's one thing about using tinners. It does keep you happy while you wash your brush for that. Wash your brush period on. There you go. With using your detail brushes, you'll find that they can clog up because your paint generally dries on a smaller brush quicker. So after I've actually used the brush for a while, I will just literally use some brush cleaner soap. It just helps. Keep the heads look horrible. Keeps them nice and clean. It's some brushes, if you don't use real hairs, like say brushes and synthetics, thinners can actually melt the tips of your brushes, sort of help them, cause them to warp out and then change around and blow out a bit too much. Let's see what's going on in chat. Not a lot at the moment, by the looks of it. Colin have to work with something better. Belcher saying you're doing great, Ross. Or not. Good, Johnny. Confidence will come with time. Your mic sounds better tonight. Yeah, we've actually removed a lot of the sound deadening, so where before we had it set up to cut out background noise, the mic's now set up so it just basically picks up everything. We will slowly work on bringing in the other parts of the mic, which will take out background noises a bit again. But we found that that's what was causing the mic to cut out half more words, because it was thinking it was picking up the background noise when it weren't, because I talk reasonably quiet. I'm not very loud at talking. So, as you can see, I've gone over a bit on the blue, so what I'll do now is go back onto the Cantor blue. Thin brush. Okay. Up that. Like so. That to go back into the edges. That's right. See, a lot of people probably wouldn't need to go into this wouldn't go into that sort of depth where they're going in between the legs and everything. So a lot of it will be hidden when you put the piece on the front here, the tabard, which has a tabard, so it would normally sit there and hide a lot of it when it's on the miniature. I do actually still paint into them, but it's probably my OCD where it comes into play, where I actually go that far. You don't really need to, but that's just me. And there we go. That's all now nice and neat and tidy on the leg lines. So right. Okay. His cloak. I'll just go over that again with my chisel brush. Nice full face. Okay, much is cloak. Fully done. We've got a nice fat coat over it. It's more an even coat, nice finish, so you don't have any brush lines in it by just using this. With the using fairy sticks, you'll find that your brushes, when you've been washing them out in and out all the time, you will find that they do go stiff even after washing them out of water. That's the reason why I use the brush cleaner after I use so often. brushes. It's also one of the good practices just to make your brushes last longer. I do have a tendency to burn through a lot of brushes. Then again, I think I've got some like 300 brushes here to choose from. There we go. That's it. Okay. Go back to our base. That's first with the first coat of Agrax Earth shade on it. It's actually taking it a bit deeper colour on it. So do that, and then we'll go over it again in a little while. But first of all, we've got some vines and everything in here, and some leaves that are naturally on it. So we want to bring them out. It's in Dryad Bark. So you'll be thinking so far, am I doing okay for you? Anything else you'd like me to? I find it hard to understand what you are saying at times, but maybe it's this iPad. Probably not. I do tend to mumble quite a bit. So I do apologise if I'm a bit like that. As I said, it's getting used to actually doing this sort of thing, so I don't normally do it. I have to, as the Mrs. M keeps mumbling me in the background, I have to learn to raise my voice and keep it an even pitch so that people can hear me clearly, and I do apologise. So what the same lines and that lot just there. We can see. Things like the vines. Yeah. Okay. The leaves don't generally use a Citadel green paint, so well, something that I don't find one I really like, so I'll generally use a Belcher light green. After what I'm not saying, it's all part of the learning, Ross. We all had to adjust, matey. Yeah. And I can agree with you. You can probably tell that I'm still nervous about doing this, but I'm getting there. I think the more I do it, the more I'll get used to actually talking to nobody in my own property. I don't mean not talking to you lot out there. Belcher's Crafters, really enjoying the live stream. Like you say, the mumbling will get less and less as your confidence grows. Yeah, but I also still tend to mumble. I mean, even when I'm not doing a live stream, I'm talking sat here on my own. I sort of mumble to myself, usually swearing most of the time when I screw up. But other than that, a little bit of light green. So again, we need one of those smaller bark brushes. So I wend these up. There's one there. It may seem a bit bright at first, the leaf, but you'll find out later on when I've used the shades on it, they will darken down a lot more. This way I can, when I'm actually using the lighter greens, it helps me find and define the edges of each leaf. And this time I'm actually using the tip of the brush, the edge. Okay. If you'd asked me about painting figures, I'd say about 6 to 9 months ago, anywhere between that, I would have just laughed at it and said, no way. When it comes to doing figures, I always, even for aircraft, they used to get left in the box. I used to hate doing them. But then I just started thinking, like, well, I've got to go take this leap at some point. So a friend of mine recommended me to paint a couple of Warhammer figures. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. So I used that as a bouncing board to actually paint figures. And to me, I think it has helped me a fair bit. I do enjoy doing what I do now. But yes, like Colin, I'm well and truly down the rabbit hole when it comes to doing Warhammer stuff. So, but I will say this, I managed to go into the Games Workshop the other day for a pot of paint and only came out with a pot of paint plus 2 free figures. So I think I did quite well there. I think even Mrs. M would agree to that one, because last time I went into the shop before for my birthday time, I ended up spending close to £200, which she wasn't so happy about. And that was just in the Warhammer shop. But then I also went and spent another £70 in the model shop, and I only went in to get Tamiya paint, the Tamiya masking tape, but I forgot the masking tape. So I had to go back there the following week to get more tape. Yeah, I suppose so. It's it's living and learning, and yeah, I'm enjoying what I do. I mean, I think once my nerves of talking sort of like come sort of like over time, and they go sort of subside, I will sort of like mumbling away. But it's just habits, I suppose, and I've got to break that, especially when it comes to doing this, and I've got to learn to relax and forget that people are watching and sort of treat it as a normal conversation. And as I said, like Colin said, it will come as time. The reason why I fake an even pick, it's what I meant by that really is that I want to keep the voice at a certain volume level, I should say, above a certain level, to keep Mrs. M happy. Otherwise, there's background barracking from the Mr. Still. Okay, so that's the leaves done that I can see. I think I've got them all. Yep, looks like it. Okay, now right. Here we go. So a little weathering set. Now, this helps me bring a bit more shading into it. Where's the muddy going up? These are just dry powders. What I tend to do is dampen the brush slightly. Not that so it's wet completely. Put a bit of the weathering powder on. Then just literally brush it across, and the dampness on the brush, once it's actually there, helps work it over. So just dulls down that brightness of the yellow leaves. There we go. So again, just bring out a different, slightly different texture again. Okay. Dry this brush off. You notice this one's got a fairly splayed end. That's why I use it for dry brushing and I use some powders. And I'll keep doing that to splay it out even more. Still I'm not scratch plate up. Just go over it slightly like that and just drags it over. And I'll bring out those edges again. Texture. More. And just basically building up on the layers of each one. That way. Yeah, I agree with that. The modeling does keep the dead air time off down to a minimum, I suppose. I try not to sort of like put dead air in, but I think everybody has that. But I mean, he's not used to talking. Now, with my stones, I generally use a bit of green, and the one I'm using is Coelia Green Shade, and this sort of gives it like a greeny tint to some of the edges of the stones. And then if you're using the just touch over it slightly into certain areas and just drag it across. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. And I don't want to cover the whole stone, I just basically want to go around the edges of the stone. This way, and it sort of simulates in a way a moss to the stone. And just literally lightly touching it. Let's just bring it out like that. And just go around the edges a bit. So just make it look a bit more of a natural effect on the stone. Drag it across. And so it sort of makes it look, there's some sort of moss effect on it. Okay. And on the edges here, we've got like a small little muddy, well, I call them muddy stone. So to get sort of stoned up, fresh fade. It's almost like a ready mud brown, as I like to use it for. This will over the edges. So pop that into it. And so it just brings it out a bit more. Go those stones. So image. It sort of like, you know, simulates a mud between them, but it doesn't actually highlight from the actual stone this way. You don't have to be afraid of how much you put on, because it generally dulls down even more when they dry out. Right. Okay. When I'm using one of the detail brushes to do this, because I find it just gets me into where I want to do it. And you can see I'm now going to like highlights that round. So how are you feeling now, Ross? More relaxed? Yeah, I actually, the more time I'm doing this, I am getting a bit more relaxed at doing it. Yeah, I'm not totally relaxed. I don't think I ever will be. Just taking time. And yeah, I will say thank you, Colin, for pushing me into doing this. I hope in the process of me doing this, other people can learn some of my little quirky ways of doing things. They're not so expected like with, well, accepted, I should say, of the Warhammer people. But as I say, each person has their very own way of doing things. So can we expect to see Christine venturing into the live stream? That probably won't happen so much, I don't think. If she does, she will generally comes in as a yeah, she's doing a virtual thingamajiggy. I don't get involved in that sort of thing. Okay, so now that we've got to this point, and that's all dried in nicely, with a coat of Agrax Earthy Shade. Alright, that green into it now a bit more. So we're going with chill brush right over. And then we see the green are coming out through the stone, and the leaves are dulled down a fair bit. Okay, we'll jump in the next one. Okay, I'm going to do that in a second. Because I need to go to the toilet. I'm having prostate problems, and you suddenly need to go to the toilet very quickly. So I'll be right back in about 30 seconds or so. And just jump that on there, innit? About that, folks. It's the only problem with prostate. It does make you want to go to the toilet at rather inappropriate times. Even though I went before. Never mind. Back again. Here we go. So that's, in some ways, it's household. So that's near enough dried out again now. Next part I've got to do on this base is to highlight in between the stones. And what I do with that is I use noodling oil, which is also another shade. So, there we go. So what we've been on for now. Cool, blimey, now already. Didn't realise it's been that long so far. Didn't know I've done that quick. I was going to say, time flies when you're having fun. So what we'll do, once I've got this bit done, we'll probably call it a night. And then we'll go back onto the chat and see what other people have been saying. So we're just going to go into the edges of the stone by just dropping the brush tip into it. So it just literally darkens between the stones up. Like so. And makes the edges just stand out a bit more. Even not doing that. I suppose in a way it's a bit like panel lining. Or a model. But as you do it to the stones. And the good thing about doing this sort of way of doing it, it actually allows you to, if you think that your stones aren't standing out enough, you can go over again with a dry brush and just make the edges stand out a little bit more if you wanted to. Here we go. Nearly done that. I would lose a bit of the more. Wait, it's darkens them off a little more. There we go. There's that. That's literally. You see it's now all sort of standing out a bit more. We could actually bring out the edges of the stone a bit more if we wanted to. It doesn't really show up so well at the moment. But it is coming together. This is a base for another figure I'm doing. That's why I've actually just got the coins out of it so far. And that. But yeah, so far we've got the legs almost done. Just got to do his head and hair and face doing that one. Really different techniques to that. I've got the little tabard done and his skirt. And I've got the throat done. Near enough, just got to just tidy up the edges. What we can do with the enormous and red, that should then cover that lot up. So I think we'll go back to the top camp. Well, I hope you find something that I've done and some of the techniques. I hope you can actually use that in what you do. I've enjoyed the fact that I've done this now. I think now that I've got the first one under the belt, I can hopefully get better. I'm not sure how many people are still in. We've still got 9 people watching. Thank you very much. Sorry about the quick break, but these things happen. So once again, thank you very much for joining me, and then hopefully you'll see me again next Saturday, same time at 10 o'clock, because it's easier without kids running around making lots of noise in the background. So thank you very much, and I'll